now we're going to move into the last segment of the show, which is Certified Rad. And this week, what we're looking at is we're actually going to take a step back. And, last week we had the tech gear review. So if you haven't seen that and you have any interest in like gadgets and gizmos, you may want to go back and watch that. Before that, we had a couple pieces, a couple weeks worth of people helping people because of everything that was going on in the country. And this week, we're actually going to take a look at, we just had World Mental Health Day, right? So people who are dealing with depression, anxiety, everything else. This life really is hard enough without people out there trying to make it even more difficult for everybody. If you've ever been depressed, if you've ever been anything like that, you need to realize that you're not alone. Depression is very weird. As someone who is dealing with it myself, like it's not an easy thing. It's difficult to explain. It's not quite quantifiable or tangible sometimes. It's just like you're in this weird fog. I just wanted to kind of throw up a couple books that I've read over the last couple years that have helped me deal with depression. And I recommend these books to anybody. You don't have to be depressed to read these books. Like if you just are into like self-help and just trying to make yourself the best possible version of yourself you can be, then I'd still recommend you check these books out because I found them to be inspiring and enlightening and very helpful. And as you'll see, comedic as well. So, bettering yourself isn't always taking life so seriously. Sometimes you have to laugh because laughter will actually help kind of lift the burden, lift the yoke off of your shoulders so that you can just move forward in your day. You don't have to feel like, the world is caving in around you. If you laugh, you make it lighthearted and things can seem a little better and a little brighter. So here's the list, as you can see on the screen right here, right now. There's a lot of different books. Some books are much thicker than others. But starting from the top, we have Memoirs of a Mangy Lover by Groucho Marx, which is a very humorous look at kind of like his life in Hollywood and everything else. If you like tongue-in-cheek, if you like very sarcastic, well-worded comedic pieces, I definitely recommend you check this book out. It will give you a laugh. And then the next one is Ernest Hemingway, Men Without Women. Now, this may sound a little bit weirder than the book actually is. It's just a collection of short stories that Ernest Hemingway wrote. And it's about what men would do if women weren't around. And it's like bullfighting and boxing and all this crazy stuff because it's just his opinion that women actually make the world a better place. And they actually kind of help men realize that there's more to life than just going out and doing crazy, weird things that could possibly kill you. And I have to agree with Ernest Hemingway. Women make life better. Paulo Coelho, The Alchemist. Definitely recommend this book. This book was a surprise to me. I walked in, I was looking for one book, couldn't find it at the bookstore, but I saw this and I was like, oh, it was like a anniversary edition. And I was like, I didn't even realize this book had been out that long. So I just picked it up and just read through it. It's a pretty quick read, but it's very powerful. And it's about how people can be on a mission to try and find what they think they need. But what they don't realize is that love has been in front of them the entire time. So it's a great book. It's fiction, but it's still a great book that's going to help you realize that maybe there's someone in your life that is actually going to be something good for you in your life and you for them, but you're so busy focused on something else, you may just walk right past them. So it just kind of helps you get perspective. Next is two books by Dr. Leah Buscaglia, and that's Love and Personhood. Now, love is an examination about what it means to actually love. Love yourself, love others. It's not a sexual love, anything like that. It's literal, genuine love. Like when you see someone, you're just like, yeah, you're so excited to see them. You give them a big hug, and you're like, yes, and I can't high fives. That, like, it's a look at what does love mean? How do you give love? How do you receive love? How do you just become a full person? How do you become a full human? And then with personhood, the same thing. Like, it's just a development of you and just experiencing that we're not perfect. We have flaws, and you have to explain that sometimes to people. Look, this is kind of what I'm going through. They may approach you and say, hey, you've been acting weird. And you just have to explain, look, I'm not perfect. This is what I'm going through. I'm trying to deal with this. And then that person can reach out because now they know you need help and they can be a friend and they can be like, hey, I see that you're struggling. Let me get you a cup of coffee. Let me go get you some tea. Let me give you a hug. Let's just go hang out and see a movie. Like, they can be there for you, but you have to be able to explain to them kind of what you're going through as an honest human being when they approach you with with that concern about how you've been portraying yourself. So these are just both very good books, and anything by Dr. Leo is good. I mean, you can even pull up his YouTube stuff, and his YouTube stuff is very good, and it's very inspiring because he's a very energetic, very charismatic speaker. He's no longer with us, sadly, but you can definitely check out these books and check out his works on YouTube as well when he did his public speaking events. Next up, we have Marcus Aurelius Meditations and Letters from a Stoic by Seneca. Now, these are more philosophy-based books that look at how to center yourself and how to use logic over emotion to overcome problems. So if you've ever looked at a situation and thought, man, I just get so emotional and so worked up about stuff, it would be nice if I could just turn that off and just try and rationalize the problem to figure it out, and then I can move on with my day and focus my emotional energy on something positive. These books might actually help you do that. Obviously, Stoicism is like the removal of emotion. It's just life by logic. And you know, if you're a Star Trek fan, Spock would be like early Spock, not new Spock, but early Spock would have been considered kind of stoic in his demeanor. This is going to help you realize that there's ways to try and process thought and allow the brain to do the job it's supposed to do. That way your heart can enjoy life in different means and different ways after you've been able to figure out and process kind of the solutions to the questions that you have. Next is a very big book, and that's Essays and Poems by Ralph Waldo Emerson. This book took me a while to read because yes, it's a very thick book, but the content in the book is so thought-provoking that as you're going through each of these essays and poems, it's really going to give you something to just kind of gnaw on and just mull over in your mind and in your heart as you just kind of read through these different thoughts of his as to what life means, and you know what it means to be one with people and be in nature and surround yourself with people in this life. And if you want a book that you can kind of read a chapter and then just kind of process it and chill out, I'd recommend this book. If you're the type of person that likes to read a book and then have like a book club setting to where you can talk about what you just read, if you have like a small group, like a little group that you have, like your little tribe, right, where you guys like to read books and share, definitely recommend you guys consider adding this to your monthly reading list, because you can sit down after you read an essay and really just get into what he's talking about. I found it to be a very rewarding experience. Finally, Brené Brown, Rising Strong. Now, this book deals with just finding yourself after, you know, you feel like you've lost the battle for the day, or, you know, you're going through something and you feel like, how am I ever going to get out of this? This book really helps you look at yourself and say, look, we're not perfect. We have problems. That's part of being human. And we got to figure out how to make the best of our life after we fail, after we stumble, after we fall. It could be a big thing. It could be a small thing. This book just focuses on you being able to look at your life and go, okay, how am I going to get back into life? How am I going to get back into being the person that I once was? And this is a very rewarding book. She uses very normal, simple, communicative language. This isn't like a scholarly read, if you will. It's just, when you read it, it feels like she's talking right to you while you're reading it. And it's a pretty quick read, but if you actually take the time to process what she's saying in the book, I don't think that you're just going to like breeze right through it, because she gives you a lot to think about for your own life. And then she's also going to give you a lot to think about on how others might be trying to reach out to you to help you, but you might be so lost in yourself and your thoughts that it's difficult to see that. All of these books I recommend. I'm going to throw the picture back up there one more time so you can see all of them. And those are the books this week. That is the segment of Certified Rad. Like I said, if World Mental Health Day, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in this world. There's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the news. And since it's 24 hours, we're constantly bombarded with negativity. So these books are going to help you. It's going to be a departure from negativity, and it's going to help you focus on you and becoming the best version of you that you can possibly be. Because I believe in helping people, and I think people helping people is a very powerful moment in our lives where we can step back outside of ourselves and go, hey, I see you're someone in need. Let me help you. So if you're presented with an opportunity for any of these books, I recommend checking them out. This is the Certified Rad segment.